Hey everybody, welcome back. Nutritious Meats Delicious. I'm Chef Andrew. I'm delicious, and this is I'm Kay Spears, and I'm nutritious. All right, hey Kay. No, just kidding. Kay is actually still out roaming the globe, saving the world one bite at a time, but she will definitely be back for next week's episode. We're still on to fiber maxing. On our last episode, we made the power fiber bread or loaf, if you will. Now we're going to get into something that this is a dish that was a viral on TikTok and Instagram. Is called Marry Me Chicken. And it's this Tuscan kind of dish of chicken and sun-dried tomatoes and cream. And so we're going to go ahead and flip that into a fiber maxing dish now. And it's called not Marry Me Chicken, it's Marry Me Chickpeas. So we're going to start with sun-dried tomatoes packed in oil. And what we're going to use first is just the oil. So tomatoes are high in vitamin C, folic acid. And have you ever seen tomato paste? This is exactly what tomato paste is in pureed form. It's just sun-dried tomato puree. So I'm going to get our... So again, anytime we start cooking like this, we start on medium heat. We can always turn it up, but if it's too hot when you put your ingredients in the pan and they burn, well, you're done. You got to start over. Right here we've got 3 cloves of garlic or 3 cubes of garlic, thank you Trader Joe's, and a pinch of chili flakes. So we'll get that working. Now at this point also we're going to dump in the tomatoes. The reason why we don't dump the tomatoes in first is because we want to give the garlic and chili flake a second and the oil by themselves to toast and cook and do their thing. The sun-dried tomatoes are pretty much already cooked. They're sun-dried and they're marinated. All right, so we get our sun-dried tomatoes going here. So now we're going to get into our protein and fiber. Chickpeas. Chickpeas are high in protein, high in fiber, and these have been drained of the juices that they came from in the can. Quick fact, trick, if you are a vegan, and you probably know this, you can take the juice that you strain from chickpeas, put it in your mixer, and you can make vegan whipped cream. I've seen it done. I thought it'd be physically impossible, but it actually works. All right, here we go. Chickpeas. So we're going to let the chickpeas take on some of the sun-dried tomato oil and get infused with the tomatoes and the garlic and a little bit of chili flake. And then the next thing we're going to do to start kind of simmer this and build our sauce is our homemade vegetable broth. Now, last time we talked about bone broth, and we did for 2 hours in a pressure cooker with bones and scraps. And this is literally the same thing, just without the bones. It's carrot scraps and onions and clean out the fridge of parsley stems and cilantro stems. Anything on the vegetable world that you have that looks like a scrap, try to leave the roots out. And I say the roots, when you have an onion, you cut that hairy end off, it's full of dirt. All that dirt's going to get in your broth. So make sure you don't put the root parts in. Okay. So we're on medium. We're going to go up to medium high. Because we're going to put some liquid in. We want this liquid to cook and reduce. Reduction is flavor. Now, at this point, you could cover this. It's not really necessary because this is not a dish that takes a long time. Now, if you wanted to sit here and cover it and steam and get the chickpeas down to, they'll actually get really mushy. What's kind of fun about this dish is the texture that remains in the chickpeas. It gives you, you don't want everything mushy from the tomatoes to the cream to the chickpeas. So we're really just trying to reduce the broth. And get the chickpeas cooking a little bit so they're a little soft and warm all the way through, but not mushy. So when we let this reduce for about another minute, then we're going to get into the dairy part of this. This is heavy whipping cream. Now, if you don't want to use heavy whipping cream, you can use full-fat coconut milk. Don't use light coconut milk. Use full-fat coconut milk because fat is flavor. It's also brain food. Okay, and this is Parmesan cheese. If dairy is not in your wheelhouse, then you can also use a tablespoon of nutritional yeast flakes here, which tastes just like Parmesan cheese. That's how we make our vegan Alfredo sauce, is cauliflower puree and nutritional yeast flakes, but that's an entirely another episode. Okay, we're bubbling around over here. So we're going to go in with our heavy whipping cream. Again, heavy whipping cream, not milk, not skim milk if you're going to use dairy, because this is fat. Fat is flavor, fat is brain food. Let that come back up to a boil. And next we're going to add some grated Parmesan cheese. Now, at this point, Parmesan cheese, Asiago cheese, Romano cheese are all hard Italian cheeses. And the way they're made is they're basically cured with salt. Salt pulls all the moisture out, makes the cheese. Get the whole cheese and grate it yourself. Don't go with the pre-grated. Don't go with the grated that's on the shelf. It's dried out. It's flavorless. It's waxy. It's kind of like garlic. Garlic you should always chop when you're ready to use it, because it releases what's called allicin, and allicin gives out the flavor in the dish. But if you have garlic that comes in a jar, we call it jarlic, then half your flavor is already gone. Same thing with any pre-sliced, pre-shredded cheeses, especially the powder that comes in on the shelf. I mean, cheese is supposed to be refrigerated, right? So how does it make it on the shelf in the pasta aisle? Anyway, I'll get off that soapbox. So we've got our tomato cream and garlic and chili flakes and chickpeas simmering over here. Now, when we put this Parmesan cheese in, this is also going to act as your sauce thickener. Okay, because we're going to add more at the end. As garnish. So this needs to go simmer probably for about 5 minutes, because we're trying to reduce the cream, get the rest of that stock to reduce, our vegetable broth, get the cheese to do its thing. And yeah, we'll see you in 5 minutes. And we're back. All right, 5 minutes later, if you can take a look here, the chickpeas, our sauce is reduced down. It's getting thick, like creamy and sun-dried tomato creamy goodness. So the last couple things that we're going to add here is we're going to add some lemon zest. Now, anytime you have citrus in a recipe, orange, lemon, lime, buy one of these, zest your citrus. This is all essential oil. It will expand the flavor of the citrus at least 10 times. So that goes in. Again, we're still working on, we've gone back down to about medium heat now. It's because we're just about done. So we've got the citrus in there. We're going to squeeze our lemon, get the seeds out, put our lemon juice in there. And then our grand finale for color is kale. Okay, kale is full of vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin C. So at this point, you can turn your heat off, because you're not really looking to cook this down like cream spinach. You just want to kind of wilt it a little bit. All mixy in there. And we're going to do a little bit of sea salt, a little bit of pepper. So at this point, take our bowl. Looks amazing, right? Red, green, chickpeas. All right, all right. And then finally, like we said at the very end, and this is what I was saying about Parmesan, about grating your own Parmesan. Make sure you have one of these as well. It's called the microplane. It's a lot easier to use than a box grater. So we're just going to slide back and forth. It's snowing Parmesan cheese. And there you have it. Marry Me Chickpeas. Amazing. If you want to put something else on top, you can add more chili flake. You could also add a little basil, parsley, any other herbs that you want. But that's it for today. So fiber maxing, we've got our bread, we've got our Marry Me Chickpeas. Next week, we'll do more fiber maxing. And then after that, we're going to get into oils and vinegars and grains and all the fun stuff that you have questions about. So we'll see you then. I'm Chef Andrew.